Well, the next woman you're about to meet is brave beyond words, and her story will leave you in disbelief. This week, a Queensland police officer who pleaded guilty to leaking a domestic violence victim's personal details to her ex had his sentence reduced, and with no conviction recorded, he still has his job. This morning, pressure is mounting on the police commissioner to sack the senior constable. The victim left with no confidence in the people meant to protect her. Do you feel like you're in a fight here and no one is on your side?
Absolutely. I have been fighting for so long, so hard to seek justice for what's happened to me, and nobody is listening. There have been no changes and I'm right back at the beginning all over again.
Senior Constable Neil Punchard hacked the Queensland Police confidential database, handing his childhood friend personal details of this Queensland woman. We can't identify her for legal reasons because she's the victim of domestic violence. And while afraid for her life in 2014, unbeknownst to her, the police officer, a man who's sworn to serve and protect, gave her address to her violent ex-husband, who she was hiding from.
This police officer gave your estranged husband, a man who's convicted of domestic violence, a man who threatened to kill you and strap bombs to your children. He told him this is where she lives.
And it was really hard for me to leave. I left with nothing but a bag with a few little bits of clothes and personal items. And breaking away is the hardest point because that's when the perpetrator will try to kill you. And with Neil Punchard giving out my details, a private address from where I was hiding from the perpetrator, it left me sitting as an open duck with nowhere else to go.
After providing the address, Neil Punchard sent his mate text messages. Just tell her you know where she lives and leave it at that. Lol. And the police will contact you if they want to speak to you. Then you give them my name. That is your get out of jail free card. The senior constable pleaded guilty to 9 charges of computer hacking. His punishment, handed down in October last year, 2 months jail, wholly suspended. But this week, a judge made a decision that sent shockwaves through the community.
What was your reaction on Tuesday when the judge said, I'm overruling the sentence, 140 hours community service and no conviction recorded?
I actually couldn't believe what I was hearing, that he had minimised the sentence after everything that I've been through, after everything that I have stood up for. I couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock, actually.
Who do you feel let down by most?
I feel let down by the police, the Queensland Police, and the judicial system, because they've both allowed this to happen. They've both allowed this gross breach of privacy to occur. The officer even pled guilty to the criminal offences, yet there is no consequence whatsoever. What message is that sending out to all police officers in Queensland? You can breach the database. Let's use it like a yellow pages. Let's put women and children in danger of being murdered. It doesn't matter because there's no consequence. I could have been Hannah Clark.
I just don't understand how we're sitting here today and talking about this when we saw what happened to Hannah Clark and her children and we said as a nation, never again, no more. Yet we seem to quickly forget.
I am flabbergasted that we are sitting here talking about this because all of the fighting I've done for so many years, advocating for women, advocating for people who have been victim to a breach of privacy, it's basically gotten us nowhere.
There's some woman at home right now, a victim of domestic violence, perhaps trying to work up the courage to leave an abusive relationship. Why would she when she hears what happened to you?
No woman is going to get the courage to get out with this type of system that's going to let them down. I can just imagine that every other woman in Australia right now is feeling as helpless as I am. What hope is there for any woman? The very people that I would expect to protect me, to serve and protect and show care in a situation of domestic violence, completely did the opposite.
You're an incredibly strong woman. Has this broken you at times, though?
It's made me question why I keep going.
You okay?
Hold on, give me a minute.
And why do you keep going?
Because I'm fighting for everybody else. I'm fighting for my children. and for the greater good of the community.
What do you say to that, huh? I mean, it's unbelievable. She's so incredibly strong, that woman. We asked the Police Commissioner, Katarina Carroll, to come on the show today. She declined. So we asked whether Neil Punchard will be sacked and what the Commissioner has to say to the victim, given her ex is still out there and that her ex is now taunting her on social media. She feels unsafe knowing that Neil Punchard still can access her details. We received a 4-paragraph statement. The first 2 lines reading, "The Queensland Police Service will consider the outcome of the officer's appeal. The officer remains suspended from duty." He remains suspended, yes, but he still has a job and he's still being paid. I mean, if we want to send a message to domestic violence victims that you can trust the system, come forward and we'll keep you safe, it's not happening.
Yeah, they do need to do something about that decision, and that's completely abhorrent that that would happen. And I'm sure, even from the police perspective, if you're a hard-working officer on the front line, you're dealing with domestic violence every day, it's part of your job, to see that happen would be gross from your perspective, and we get that. 99.9% of the police force do the right thing, but that one needs to be fixed. That is a gross dereliction of duty.
And that is one thing that Julie's obviously not her real name, that she made the point that there have been some amazing police officers who have supported her through this, who are disgusted that this has happened, that this man still has his job.